This online lesson is about working online. To complete the lesson, you will need, in addition to your device, a pen and a piece of paper. Please pause this quiz and complete the entrance quiz linked on class charts. Just a reminder, you will be asked to upload your score, so please make sure that you take an image of your quiz results before closing the quiz. Okay, so in this lesson, what we're going to look at is we're going to look at working online. The lesson will involve you doing three things. The first one is you will need to describe the need to protect your information online. We'll then move on to explaining how to respond to cyberbullying, and then we'll look at interpreting how the law will apply to your work in school. Okay, the first thing we need to think about is the need to protect your information online. Not everybody online is as trustworthy as your friends, and you can accidentally give out important information that somebody else can use to steal from you. It's not only the money they're after, but they can also steal your identity. They can use your data to set up bank accounts, phone accounts, order things online, and everything will come back to you instead to them. So it's vitally important that you make sure that you don't give out your information online. Another important thing to think about when working online is to think about, what do I want this information to do in the future? So anytime you post anything on any media at all, even if you think you're sending it to a friend, that information can get out online quite easily and it will be there forever. You deleting the image or your friend deleting the image you sent them or video will not guarantee that it doesn't end up on the internet. What a lot of people say to me during this normal lesson is they say to me, oh, I trust everybody I share information with. What I would suggest is think about all the people that you have known in the past that you thought was your friend and then turned around and did something that means they're not. It's really easy to fall out. I now talk to only 2 people I used to go to school with, nobody else. Whereas if you'd have asked me when I was your age, I would have said I trusted them completely. Any information you share, you have to assume goes worldwide really quickly. And as you can see from the little cartoon, lots of employers actually check Facebook and they check other social medias to make sure that you aren't doing anything that's inappropriate. So for example, if I, as a teacher, was seen doing something in a social media site that would bring the school into disrepute, I would be asked to come to the office and there's a chance that I could be removed from my position. You have to remember that in the future, any daft thing you say or do online will be recorded and will be there forever. Anybody in the world will be able to see that information. So please be careful when you post things online. Okay, the next thing we need to quickly talk about is cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is defined as the bullying of another person using the internet, mobile phones, or other digital devices. It is defined in law, and it is something that you need to be careful with. Cyberbullying affects many people of many ages, many walks of life, including teenagers, children, and adults. Many people feel unable to confide in an adult because they're ashamed or wonder if they'll be judged. I can tell you now, they won't. Remember the school motto, tell somebody you trust. Telling somebody you trust is the strongest way and the easiest way to get help with cyberbullying. If you are bullied online, please make sure you do tell somebody you trust, but my main advice would be don't respond online to it. Responding online to cyberbullying doesn't help with the bullying. What it has a tendency to do is escalate the situation. So please remember, if you have any difficulty or any worries about cyberbullying online for you or your friends, please tell somebody you trust. That can be a teacher, an adult, an older brother and sister. Okay, so the final thing we need to think about in this lesson is we need to think about the law that applies to your schoolwork. There is a law that you will have heard of called copyright. Copyright gives people the legal right to use that information and that media in the way they see fit because they made it. It will sometimes mean that you cannot use that work in a piece of work that you are using. Lots of images online are actually copyrighted. You have to make sure that you record where the information came from and whose copyright it is if you are going to use it in your classwork. There is a slight proviso to this, and that's called plagiarism. Plagiarism is a practice of taking somebody else's work and calling it your own. If you do this for any piece of coursework or any exam that is going to be a national qualification, you have committed fraud. Plagiarism is easy to spot. So, for example, if you were to give your work to somebody else for this particular video, it would be really easy for me to spot that the work is identical. This has happened before, and people will get into trouble for it. So my advice is, if you are seeking help from somebody else, talk about the work, take notes about what you're talking about, but do not actually have a copy of their work in front of you. It's much easier for you to get help by talking, and then your interpretation of that conversation will be your work and not plagiarism. Please answer as many of the questions as you can. The feedback you will be given will be based on how far you've got up the scale from developing to mastered. Please try to get as far as you can and take a picture of your writing on your paper so that you can upload it onto class charts. Please pause this video now and complete the exit quiz linked on class charts. I will quickly remind you that you are expected to upload an image of your score, so please make sure you do this before you close the quiz. To complete this lesson, you will need to upload the following onto class charts: an image of your entrance quiz score, an image of your written answers to the assignments, an image of your exit quiz score. If any of these things are missing, the lesson is incomplete and you have not done your work. Please make sure that any upload is complete. If you need help, please leave a message on the work and we will get back to you as soon as we can.